Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone. Okay, um, welcome to the webinar. Let me get the slides up. Okay, well, hello, everyone. Welcome. I am so excited. Oh, you know what? I forgot to share my screen, I think. Yep, I did. Here we go. Okay. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen so you can see the presentation. I am so excited to do this webinar. This webinar was inspired by my latest opt-in about the 9 steps to creating and launching your online business. The response that I have gotten from that opt-in has been tremendous. And so I was like, what better way than to bring it live? Obviously, there won't be enough time to go into detail on each piece, but yeah, I'm gonna go over it in general terms, and then I'm gonna dig into about 3 sections of the 9, and then take questions. So I'm really excited. A little bit about myself. So, hi everyone, my name is Angelica Rosewitz. In case you have not interacted with me before, welcome to my webinar. I am a business coach, and I have been in the online world for 11 years now, working for various agencies, startups, internet companies, taking them usually from startup phase to multi-million-dollar status. And about 3 years ago, I decided to launch out on my own as a consultant and be an online consultant, helping. Oops, what did I do? Okay, hold on. There we are. Okay, helping other small businesses get visible online, build online presence, mostly get clients and leads utilizing the internet and social media. So doing that for several years for companies and then on my own as a consultant kind of landed me into coaching about a year and change ago, where I just decided that I wanted to make a greater impact and be more personal with my clients rather than just working with marketing teams or the CEOs of small businesses. I wanted to really get personal with my clients, and entrepreneurs just fell into my niche, and I've loved it ever since, and that's how I am here today. I say that I'm an artist and my medium is business. I love the creative part along with the analytical, and I've just been blessed to have the privilege of being in this niche for 11 years and now working for myself. So that's a little bit about me. You know, when I started a year ago as a business coach, I had no internet presence as a brand myself. I had no website, I had no following, no email list, no community, nothing. I just had an idea and I had a passion, and everything that you've seen me over the last few months, if you've been following me, or if not, you know, I've built it from zero. And all the strategies that I used to use to build multi-million-dollar companies, I'm now implementing for myself as well as teaching my clients. So I am really excited to bring this information to you. And I want to start off by just saying thank you for everyone who's took the time out to attend the webinar or watch this replay, because I will be sending out a replay, because it shows that you have a level of commitment in your business to pursue your calling, pursue your passion, and whatever your why is, whether it's freedom to have time, freedom of money, freedom to just live wherever you want. Good for you. You know, I really give you props for that, because it definitely takes a level of courage, commitment, investment, you know, sweat equity to build your own online business. And if it were easy, everyone would do it, right? So good for you. And yeah, so let's get to this. Get ready to take a ton of notes, okay? Because we have a lot to cover. And I am excited to answer all your questions at the end. Alrighty? I will also be making an offer at the end, which I'm really excited about. So you don't want to miss that, and stay tuned for that. So let's go. Created and launched everything you need to start a profitable online business. After this webinar, you'll walk away with a game plan for building a standout online brand, how you can be more visible when you're new to the game. As I mentioned, I started from zero. And if you're brand new, or if you've just been struggling and getting visible and converting your visibility into clients, we're going to talk about that. And then the third thing is learning the one thing everyone screws up when launching their business and how to avoid it. This one's a biggie, and this one is really why I'm in business. So the overview of the 9 steps of creating and launching a service-based business. The first step is your vision and your mission. Now, this is really important because this tells the story of your business, okay? It's what people relate to. It's also what pushes you and keeps you focused as you gain clarity and momentum in your business. So this is really important to have as a foundation. Clarity on your why. You know, it is an up and down journey. If anyone tells you it's easy, they're lying to you, and I'm sorry they lied to you, but it is a journey. It can feel easy, but it definitely takes a certain amount of guts to go through it and go through it well. Okay, so the clarity of your why, whether it's for your kids, for your future, whatever your goals and dreams are, your vision for your life, you know, being clear on that is what's going to help propel you and get you through the tough days as well as through the happy days. Branding, that's all the ones that are underlined, 3, 6, and 7, we're going to go into in more detail throughout this webinar. So branding, really quickly, this is what will have you stand out online, and it's what's going to make you noticeable, people remember you, and it will keep you front of mind. This is definitely a really important support structure to have in your business, because you want to be remembered, you want to have a memorable brand, and you want to be known for your message. You want to be known for what your mission is as an entrepreneur. Step 4, business plan and goals. That is so, so important, because without goals, without systems to know where you're going, you're not going to get anywhere. And it's very important that your goals are attainable and actionable. You know, I made a huge mistake when I first started my business thinking I'm going to make $50K a month, like right out the gate. And obviously, devastation happened when I didn't hit that goal in my first month of business, because it was a ridiculous goal. Possible, absolutely. Probable, not so much. So I'm really big on building a business plan, being very clear on your goals, making sure they're attainable and actionable based on where you are in your business, because that builds evidence that you are going in the right direction, that you are capable of making goals and hitting them. And it just builds momentum and traction in your business. It also helps you have clarity and focus. As you build that momentum and traction and you have that clarity and that focus, it just creates this beautiful system in your business where things just fall into place and you feel very supportive, which is imperative for success. And it helps you avoid overwhelm and frustration. I've made a lot of those mistakes not having those things in place. So that's why I really know what I'm talking about. That plays into systems and structures. You know, you have your business plan, you know what you want to accomplish, then you implement systems and structures that will help you attain those goals, and you just create a well-oiled machine that produces the results you're looking for. Step 6 now is marketing and visibility strategy. This is so important. This is what will grow your tribe, build your authority, grow your know, like, and trust factor, position you as a leader in your niche, build your credibility. which is really what will eventually turn into paying clients. All those little pieces will then have clients coming to you saying, hey, I love your message. I love what you're doing. I've been following you. I've been watching you. I listened to your webinar. I had a call with you. Whatever your strategy is, they're going to say, wow, you really know what you're doing. I want what you have. Let me hire you. Or if you're in different types of coaching other than business, whether you're a health coach or you're even a photographer or any kind of service-based business, if you're showing what results and what transformation people can have by working with you, that's what's going to sell you. And that's what's going to help you build relationships. Remember, trust really takes time to build. And for someone to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars with you, they have to trust you, and you need to have a relationship. Remember, 99% of business sales in the service-based niche will come from conversations. So your marketing and your visibility strategy should be supporting you in building those relationships, getting as many people into your tribe, nurturing that tribe, and then setting yourself up to have conversations with these individuals that are loving what you're doing, to then make it an easy sell, not an icky sell where you're forcing them or you feel like you're forcing them. It doesn't have to be that way. There's definitely a beautiful way where you can love sales, and love can be in the sale, because of course we are coming from a place of service. So step 7, this is really important. It's the execution. It's so important to execute consistently. And this is probably the hardest part of entrepreneurship. We love the planning. We love the dreaming about our business idea, talking about what our passions are, what our mission is, what impact we want to make in the world. But now we have our marketing and visibility strategy, and now we have to execute. And the execution piece is really tricky, because not only does it take a level of discipline, but it takes a level of guts. Because guess what? Not everything you execute is going to produce the results you're expecting. If you've been following me, I made a post and an email a few weeks ago about how it took me 7 opt-ins before I found the one that, really, really worked. They all work to some extent, but the one that really hit the nail on the head, it took me 7 tries, and imagine if I would have given up after try 3 or 4. And that's just one example. You have to consistently execute over time, reevaluate your goals, tighten up your systems and structures, and continue executing your strategies and learning from the results, which is step 8, tweaking and interpreting results based on what you execute. This is so important to good marketing and good execution. And this is probably what is so often forgotten or overlooked. People get their heads out of the game, they get disappointed, they just stop, they change their message, they change their strategy, which, by the way, is a huge mistake. Unless, well, let's not, I don't want to overwhelm you, but that's a huge mistake, especially if you're new and you're just getting yourself out there. You want to be nurturing the same people over and over and over again. So based on what you're putting out, there's a lot of data for you to interpret and understand based on how people respond to what you're putting out. So maybe, if you're a health coach, you put out something on exercise and fitness, and you realize people keep asking you questions about healthy eating. Well, then maybe you need to tweak your message to see how, exercise and healthy eating help you have a healthy lifestyle. Or if you're a business coach and you're talking about online visibility, for example, well, you're talking a lot about social media, and maybe everyone keeps asking you about Snapchat and you never talk about Snapchat. Well, then if people are asking you about that, maybe you should give them what they want. I'm a big believer in, building your business in a smart way, not in a hard way. And a lot of times we get stuck in our heads and we do what we think is going to work rather than polling our audience or really listening from a place of empathy to hear the people who are looking to us for information and for strategies, really listening to them to see, what are they really struggling with? How can I really serve them? I'm really big on empathy and really understanding why people tick, why people want to be entrepreneurs, because I'm in the business of helping entrepreneurs. So I really want to understand where they're coming from. And step 9 is to go back to number 4 and repeat, because assuming you got 1 through 3 down, then building your business as long as you're in business. Because as you grow, you're going to have new products, you're going to have new offers, you're going to have new systems and structures, you're going to have new marketing, and you're going to get new results. And this process never ends as long as you're in business. So that's an overview of the 9 steps it takes to create and launch a service-based online business. This is what I teach in my program, Blossom. This is something that I've done for corporations and startups, and this system works. So now I'm going to dive in deeper into the 3 that I had highlighted. So a game plan for building a standout brand online. It's consistency. Consistency in your visual identity. That includes your website, your logo, the fonts you use, the colors you use. I'm really big on that. My brand is very consistent. People already recognize it from afar off. I know my numbers of my colors by heart. I know my fonts by heart. And you have to just really think about, how do you want to present yourself to your audience? And that also includes, how you show up on Facebook Live. Sometimes I wear makeup, sometimes I don't. I'm a mom, so I'm not the most polished person all the time, although I probably lean on the more polished side. But I'm also very approachable, so I don't always get myself all done up. But you have to think about, what do you want your brand to portray? I know some people who are just so fabulous and they only do webinars if they wear red lipstick and they get all done up. That's not me, at least not all the time. So think about those things. How do you want to be presented? Because remember, consistency builds trust. Trust brings you clients. It all over time builds your business. The next thing, consistency in your online visibility strategy. I touched on this a little earlier. It's so important to be consistent in your online visibility strategy because you want to be touching the same people over and over and over again. Statistically, it takes 20 touches before a sale. 20 touches. So think about it. If you keep changing your message, you keep changing your strategy, you keep changing your visual identity, you keep changing the people that you're targeting, how in the world are you ever going to touch one person at least 20 times in order for you to get that one sale? It's not going to happen, and then you're going to be frustrated. So I'm really, really big on that. There is room for testing and saying your execution, you change nothing, and you just keep going at it with your message, touching the same people over and over and over again. If after 90 days you've been consistent and you haven't tweaked any of this and it's still not working, well, then there's room for a conversation to say, hey, maybe I need to poll the people in my audience and see what they want to know about in the area that I specialize in, because maybe you really are off. But one of the biggest mistakes I've seen you coaches make, they switch it up before they're even known as an expert for, you know, XYZ. So my encouragement to you is stay consistent. Pick your visibility strategy. If you haven't gotten your guide to online visibility, in there, in the email sequence, you will get an Excel tracker. And it is a beautiful tool where I outline every online visibility strategy you could possibly dream of. And then I encourage you to pick 3. Pick 3. One of the questions that I have to answer during a Q&A that was submitted was, I don't have the time and energy to be on every social media platform. How do I pick? Well, think about who your ideal client is, where are they online, and what platform are you naturally on? If you're not naturally on Snapchat, don't do Snapchat. That's going to take way too much energy out of you. You know, if you're on Facebook, which that's my preferred platform, then focus on Facebook, and then maybe use Instagram as a secondary platform, but your focus is on Facebook. If you love Twitter, then maybe it's Twitter. So check that guide out. It's really powerful and transformational if you haven't gotten it already. And definitely utilize the tracker and create your 90-day strategy there. Okay, so the next thing is your message. Again, you want to set yourself up as the expert in a particular area, right? Because that's what's going to bring you clients eventually, because that's what we're here for, right? We want to make an impact, and we want to make good money making that impact, because we deserve to get paid for what we're experts in. So don't change your message, be consistent in it, and be sure to share your story within the message. And then in your execution, please, please do not be the type of entrepreneur that starts and stops, starts and stops. If you do struggle with that, get the accountability that you need to be resilient and consistent in your execution. If you're saying it's going to be Facebook and Facebook groups, and this is your message, and this is going to be your strategy, then do whatever you can to execute your strategy to the T every single day. So if that means posting in Facebook groups 5 times a day, then that you're doing it. You have your graphics ready, you have your message ready, you have your headlines ready, and you are going to be consistent for the next 90 days. If it's your email marketing, that you're going to email your list 3 times a week to all biz bestie, getting an accountability, joining an accountability buddy, joining a mastermind, getting a business coach, whoever understands the struggle and what's necessary to be successful online, get them to support you in being consistent. You know, this is one of my biggest focuses in my program, because this is what's going to get you results. Inconsistency is going to just drain you and get you very lukewarm results. Consistency is key, okay? So how can you be more visible when you're new to the game? Well, one thing is the consistency in your message. So get clear on your message. What is the one thing you want to be known for? What is your mission, vision, and message to the world? What impact you want to make? What transformation are you ready to create for your clients? Who is your ideal client, and what transformation are they craving? The answers to these questions are going to help you really focus on your message, being consistent in your message, sharing your story. Because remember, story sells. Story is what helps people connect. So you definitely want to be connecting with your audience, with your tribe. So share your story, share stories of clients, even if they're pro bono clients. What transformations have you helped them get? And talk about that, because that's what people purchase. People don't purchase packages or what programs. They purchase results. They purchase the transformation. Okay, so really think about these things, because not only that, it's going to drive you and push you and keep you focused, which then helps you stay consistent. You see how this all plays together? having this level of clarity, and then you have the consistency, which will then help you get paying clients. The next thing is the strategy piece. So here I actually broke it down for you to see in the presentation on consistent execution of your strategy. Once you have the answers to the questions listed on the previous slide, now you create your online visibility strategy that you execute consistently for a minimum of 90 days without changing anything. Be sure that you are setting yourself up as the expert and the solution to them, bringing about the transformation they're longing for. So let's say, for example, I'll take myself for example. As a business coach, I help people create and launch their online businesses and help them get their first paying clients. So that's the solution they're looking for. That's the transformation they want. So if you come to me and you're really scared to get visible online, which that is very common, that's something that I had to overcome when I first started my business. Being the face of your own brand is a beast. Like that, there is something that definitely is a challenge for most of us. Even if you're an extrovert, it's a challenge because you're the face. You're responsible for everything that goes out. Everything's a reflection of you. So there definitely is, a challenge in overcoming to become the face of your own brand. But you want to set yourself up. So if I'm talking about, online visibility and creating your online brand, how am I the solution? Think about that. How are you the solution? Whatever it is that you're focusing on. I am a solution because I help with accountability. I help with focus. I also am a coach consultant. So I offer lots of strategy. And I help bring about that transformation because a lot of times, all my clients have struggled getting over themselves and being consistent in executing strategy, or completely not knowing any kind of strategy and needing my consulting advice. So you see how that works? So if you're a health coach or you're a life coach, you're helping women, step into their power, how are you the solution? What transformation are they looking for, and how can you be the solution? So think about that in all of your marketing. Okay, because your marketing has to have purpose. It has to have a strategy, not just to put your face everywhere, but to set yourself up as the expert. Okay. So the next piece is mindset. Mindset is so important. I honestly did not take it seriously when I first started my business. I was like, I have Jesus. I don't need to do a mindset practice. I got this. I've been successful in business all these years. But let me tell you, being an entrepreneur is another beast in itself. And you're going to have challenges. They're going to come. And you need to have a structure for your mindset in place so that you can hold on to your vision, your dream, remember your why, and find the evidence that you are successful. It's really, I remember like yesterday, doing webinars and doing online visibility and, wondering when am I going to get, my next paying client, and putting things out there and wondering when will it happen. And thankfully, I picked up on it within a few months that I needed something in place that will help me keep my mind in the game, because I kept knocking myself out the game when things didn't come out the way I had expected. Okay. A lot of people are afraid of posting and getting crickets. I hear that so often, afraid they won't be liked or accepted, or maybe their family will see them, or what if they don't get their first paying client? And that's really funny because your mind plays games with you. If you don't get visible, if you don't put yourself out there, if you're not consistent, guess what? You're not going to get your first paying client. So what your computer to remind you, like for example, I myself remind myself that I'm so privileged and to know all that I know about the internet, and I've been in it for so many years. What a privilege, you know, and I feel like God let me learn all those things so I can now go and teach other women who want to be home for whatever reason, for their kids or their fur babies, or because they just want to be home. I help them do that. You know, I've been able to do it for myself, and what a privilege I've had to be able to do that. And I feel like it's my duty in this world, in service, to now share all that I know with other women and help and inspire them that it is possible for them also to make money from home doing what they love. You know, and that reminder alone is so powerful for my mindset that keeps me in the game. It wasn't always like that. I know other people who have mindset practices that include visualization and gratitude and intentions and devotionals and prayer. And mine changes like my business has evolved. My mindset practice has evolved. So you have to figure out what works with you, what works for you, and what will keep you in the mindset of a boss CEO, even when the results have not arrived yet. Okay? So next thing. The one thing everyone screws up when launching their business and how to avoid it. And that is they execute inconsistently. We're back to that. When launching, especially if you're launching a program, you're like, okay, I want to sell out my one-on-one coaching program, or I want to sell out my group program. Well, again, you need to touch the same people over and over and over again with the same message, and nurture. You know, really come from a place of service and show people what's possible for them. You know, transformation is difficult. It's not easy to get out of your comfort zone. So people most of the time will not purchase on the first try because they're going to think they can do it on their own, or they're going to think that they can figure it out by themselves, or, you know, they're going to try for a few more months. And we just as human beings are resistant to change. And then, you know, not seeing the results because you're inconsistent then causes you to give up too soon. You know, they go on this cycle of starting and stopping and starting and stopping and then starting again, because honestly, if you have the entrepreneur spirit, it's not going anywhere. So you're either going to be tormented until you finally buckle down, get to work and get to business, or you're going to go get a job. And you're going to be okay with that because maybe you truly weren't an entrepreneur deep inside. You know, the decision is yours, the choice is yours. So I was on the start, stop cycle, not exactly in inconsistency, but in my mindset. You know, like one day I believed I could do it, another day I didn't, another day I did. And I see that it can trickle down into your execution, into your marketing message, into your audience. So be on guard for that and don't give up. You know, if you feel like your message isn't resonating, give it 90 days, you know, and poll your audience. I'm really big. If you've ever worked with me, you know I make you poll your audience quite often. I poll my audience quite often. That's how I got the title of this webinar. I polled my audience. And no surprise, it did really well in my Facebook ads. It did really well with my opt-in. I did really well with my whole marketing strategy. Why? Because I gave people exactly what they wanted. I wasn't trying to figure it out. And you don't have to figure it out either. You give people what they want, okay? Again, the point, I'm gonna highlight it again. To get consistent clients, you must be nurturing the same people over time with the same message. So let me ask you, what is your commitment level to the success of your online business? How committed are you? You know, how much time have you really invested? Stop. No matter how many obstacles you have. You know, if it's not getting clients obstacles, then it's tech issues. Then it's, you know, hiring people issues, your VA disappears. I mean, there is challenges that happen throughout the entire process. And you have to be very, very, very committed to saying, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this well. And I'm going to handle the challenges as they come. I'm going to figure it out. Okay. So I'm going to make the point again about, you know, the actual consistent execution of your strategy is what everyone that's new to the game screws up, because being consistent in your message, your strategy, and your positive attitude is what will keep you succeeding. And results take time. They take time. And I honestly consider time part of your launch strategy. It takes time. I mean, you don't just go trust someone overnight and spend $5,000, $6,000, or even $2,000 or $500, right? I mean, you think about it, you have to really trust that they're going to help you get the transformation you're looking for. So what else? What else do I have here? Okay. So again, here I mentioned that time is a launch strategy. Time and consistency is key to successfully launching your business. Yes, there are certain tricks to the game to succeed and things you can do to get results faster, but there is no way to get out of being consistent and still producing results. So if you've been struggling to get clients, think about it. You know, how often have you been mailing your list? How often have you been posting on Facebook groups? How often have you been nurturing people? How often have you been getting on the phone with people? You know, if you haven't been doing any of those things consistently over time, well, then maybe your results are not really so surprising. You know, maybe there's certain things that you can tweak. Maybe you are consistent online, but you forget to pitch. You don't know how often the women that I talk to in my program, you know, some of them come to me and they already have a list, they have a tribe, but they just can't book a client. And I ask them, have you pitched your tribe? How many times have you been on the phone with people? And most of the time they're like, oh, you know, they need help working on the sales process. They need help working on the pitching and getting people on the phone and then selling them on the phone and then overcoming objections. That's, you know, it all depends on where you are in the process. But even if you're that far in the process, you have to be consistent. Are you following up with leads that said, no, not now? Excuse me. Do you have, you know, a follow-up process? Or if you're brand new, you know, to the game, well then how often have you been sharing your message? How consistent have you been? Relationship within conversation. There's no getting out of that. Okay, so that is a little bit of detail on the 3 points that I mentioned on this slide: the branding, the marketing and visibility strategy, and the execution. You know, again, I commend all of you that are here that are desiring to build online businesses. It is so possible. I want to encourage you that it can be done. If you're willing to be committed, if you're willing to be consistent, and if you're willing to execute, there is no reason why you cannot be successful. Okay, there really, really isn't. You know, one of my clients, she came to my program. She didn't even know how to like talk about herself. She didn't even have a title for herself. She had just finished life coach training. She was a multi-passionate, which actually most of my clients are multi-passionate. And they're like, how can I mix this and this and this? And how can I, you know, have a cohesive brand if I want to talk about all these unrelated things? Well, through my program, I helped her figure out what really was her sweet spot and what really lit her up. And then created branding and a message around that, and then created a visibility strategy around what that message was. And she went from someone who just didn't even know what to call herself, was terrified of being visible online, to now she's doing videos, she's booking clients, booking discovery calls, and her branding is fabulous, and she knows exactly how she is meant to serve the world through her passion, through what her calling is. And that clarity builds the momentum. It builds the traction in your business to help you go from idea to creation to launch to profitable. Okay. I just walked you through the 9 steps of creating and launching your business. I went over those 3 pieces in more detail on branding, marketing, visibility, and execution. And I want you to now think about, what would you want for your business, and how would you see your business in fulfilling your calling and being of service to people? That's why we're all in this, right? We want to serve people. So the next step for you to take is actually to go out there and launch your online business and book your first paying clients or your next paying clients. I know that sometimes that's a little overwhelming because you don't even know how to get started. Believe me, I understand. Again, I started with no community, no list, no direction, tons of fear and insecurity about being the face of my own brand, and I was able to do it. And, my mission is to help empower you, to help support you. I wanted to offer you guys on this webinar an opportunity to cut your learning curve. Consistent execution is where most people fail when launching their business. And again, as I mentioned, it's so important to be consistent to build trust. And it also shows people that you know what you're talking about, and that's the way you get clients. And let's be honest, most of us need support to execute consistently, not just throwing things out there hoping they work, but actually having a strategy and an expert advice to support you through the roller coaster that is entrepreneurship. And you don't have to do it alone. I love being supported as a busy mom and as an entrepreneur. It's been crucial for the success of my business. And I want you to think about, where would you be in 3 months if you had accountability, expert advice on how to implement and execute effectively, a plan to execute consistently, and a strategy that works for you, a schedule that's doable and supports your business and life on your terms. That is so important to avoid burnout, because then you quit, right, when you burn out. So I'm really big on having that balance. And then a support system that makes you feel safe, secure, and supported. Really, really crucial. So the offer that I'm making to everyone on this call is I will do a complete audit of your current business. We'll find out what is actually holding you back and help you go from planning mode into launching and into booking those first paying clients. We'll create a plan to get you executing strategically and consistently so you can launch your service-based business and book your first paying clients. And you'll get a complete preview of my program Blossom, and a glimpse into how the tools and the teachings that I use can transform your business right now. And to book this free call, you can go to the link that I have posted right here, www.bit.ly.makemevisible, and book your call. Also, if you purchase a package with me off of this call, then I also include 90-minute consulting sessions in my package. I will double the 90-minute consulting sessions for you. A lot of business coaches don't do that. I do that because I am a coach/consultant. And in addition to coaching sessions, I will double the consulting 90-minute sessions. And here we are for Q&A. For the Q&A session. So let me see if I have any questions going on. Okay, I have a question. Let me see. Okay, I have a question here. How do you stay in a positive mindset when people in your business don't support your business dreams? Well, then it's really, really important for you to be very clear on why you're doing what you're doing. Have that daily mindset practice, and engage the people who don't support you in trying to have them understand what your business dreams are. And if they still don't get it, I just would encourage you to not discuss it with them, and just stay focused on what your goals are, what your vision is, and what you're doing for yourself. If it's someone close, like a husband, that's a little more complicated. But staying true to yourself is so important for life and for happiness overall. So if it were my husband, I would have let's agree to disagree conversation and ask him to just support me even from afar. And just be really clear on why I'm doing what I'm doing and let that be my drive and my focus. Another question I have is, what is the number one thing that you did to grow your business in less than a year? Well, I created a strategy, I hired a business coach, and I executed consistently, and I had the accountability needed so that I didn't slack off. As a busy mom, it's really easy to get overwhelmed with life. I also live in another country. I'm moving. There's just so many things that come at you in life that can distract you from what your goals are, what your focus is. And I would say definitely having a business coach has helped. Having a support system, which means I hired a housekeeper. I sometimes hire cook, or I order out food. And I just have a great support system so that I can focus on what I need to focus on without any excuses. Time blocking has been really important for me as well. Not having, 10 hours a day to work on my business. I really have about 4 or 5 hours a day to work on my business. So I'm very, very, very strategic and focused during those 4 or 5 hours. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I know exactly the results that are going to be produced from these efforts, and I focus on that. Now, obviously, money-making activities are always the most important. And if there's other things that need to be done, like setting up a lead page or creating Facebook graphics or creating a Facebook ad graphic or something like that, I highly encourage you to outsource. You can get someone on Fiverr for $5, or you can pay a VA $20 an hour. I mean, really, the budget is up to you, but there really is no excuse. If something's going to take you 5 hours to do, like, for example, creating Facebook ad graphics, right? If that would take you 5 hours figuring out how to use Canva, figuring out how to use PicMonkey, or playing around with Photoshop, whatever program you're using, and you can just pay someone on Fiverr $10 because it'll take them 2 hours. Think about it. If you can spend those 5 hours on money-making activities and just pay someone $10, but you sell a package because you spent those 5 hours on money-making activities, think about the ROI on that. I think it's totally worth it to outsource. Not to mention the frustration. Like, I just can't deal with graphics at all. That just makes me want to pull my hair out. So, really think about what is the ROI on the activity and time block accordingly to make sure that you're spending time on the most important pieces. Okay, another question I have is, I love the idea of being super visible and consistent. The problem is I don't know what to say, talk about, or post on my page or in my groups. How do you plan out your content, what you talk about when you're marketing? Well, this is why the clarity on your message is so important. And then I would encourage you to create a mind map of your program, where in the middle you would have the major transformation that your people are looking for, and that you would have, coming off of that middle circle, you would have other little circles coming off which are the steps that lead to that bigger circle. And then you can take those circles and break them down a little further into more detail. And there you have a full picture of your program, of what goes into the transformation, and you would have a breakdown of the topics that go into that transformation. Because remember, you always want to set yourself up as the expert, as the solution to the problem. So if the transformation is in the middle, you will always know how each of the pieces sets you up as the solution to the problem to support your ideal client with getting the transformation they're looking for. And because of that, because of having that clarity, I always know what to talk about. I can always pull things out from there and talk about it, create marketing plans around it, or create opt-ins or webinars or anything like that. So I highly recommend you do that. Plus, as humans, we're very visual, and it really helps you understand not only your program, but it gives you a level of clarity that is awesome. And I plan out my content usually in 90-day chunks, because like I said, like, you know, it's important to like not change your message every 90 days. Once you have been in the game for a while and you kind of know what your people want, you have a feel for what's coming up. So I know that like we're heading into Q4, end of the year. Everyone has tons of goals. So I would probably plan my Q4 campaign around what I know people are already thinking. But in general, I highly recommend planning your content and your marketing plan in 90 days. Our brains can't handle more than 90 days of planning. So don't even think about planning 6 months or a year out in advance. 90 days is perfect. It also lets you see how well an idea works in the market, because the market will tell you how people are responding. And yeah, you take it from there. So yeah, 90 days. And the last question I have is, what's your favorite marketing strategy? Do I have to be everywhere all the time? I don't have the energy to keep up with every platform. Well, I think I talked about this a little bit earlier, but no. My favorite marketing strategy is whatever your favorite marketing strategy is. It's really, obviously there's certain strategies for each platform, and that's important to know. But first I would ask you, like, what platform comes naturally to you? Because we want to play up on your strengths, on what comes naturally to you, because you want to be authentic in your marketing. You don't want to feel forced or feel, you know, like feel inauthentic, because people feel on that energy, they can pick up on it, and it won't attract your people at all. So, one, what platform comes naturally to you? Now, based on that platform, where are your ideal clients? Are they in Facebook groups? Are they, you know, on pages? What strategy will work with that platform? And you don't have to be everywhere all the time. One major platform with a secondary platform is sufficient for you to book out your program, book out your one-on-one package, and be successful with your online business. So, so yeah, that's all I have for questions. Again, I would like to share with you this link, www.bit.ly/makemevisible. I really look forward to chatting with you and doing that business audit for you, because I'm really passionate about helping women create businesses from home, because if that's what you desire, there's no reason why it can't happen for you. Again, it's been a privilege to present to you. It's been a privilege to share this presentation. I hope it's been informative and transformational for you. And if you have any questions, always you can feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to serve you. And I look forward to chatting with you either through email or in my Facebook group or at my next webinar presentation. So Thank you again for your time. And I'm so proud of myself. I did this in under an hour, right on time. So have a great night, everyone. And I will see you guys around. Bye.